So thank you very much. It's me again, obviously, and then it'll be me for the next session. Then you'll have a break, I promise, and you can hear somebody else's voice. So hopefully you enjoyed your coffee and your pastries, and we're ready to dive back into a little bit of service design and what we're doing here at Medway. So earlier, with the process map, we were looking at the pain points and where there was frustration for our residents, but also our services, and where we were breaking things down. Our colleagues were starting to feel a little bit stuck and distrustful about our systems and our processes, and then that then has an impact further downstream because you're just then throwing money at other problems because you're just pushing the issue further down. It's costing you more to resolve those problems. So identifying pain points is the first step. If we want to design a better service, we need a structured way to go about that to solve those problems. And this is where service design comes in. And it's a discipline that focuses on creating user-centered, efficient and impactful services. And it connects all those moving parts from frontline interactions all the way through to the back office processes. So every service is made up of core elements, and we call these the 5 Ps in service design, and these are the building blocks that support every interaction within the service, whether it's a quick phone call into the customer services phone line or if it's a multi-step complex journey through the process. So the first P is people. Who's involved in that interaction? This includes both the people that are using the service, like our residents, but also the officers that are delivering that. So contact centre and frontline staff. Place. Where does the interaction happen? Is it physical, is it digital, or is it a mixture of both? Is it in person, is it over the phone, or is it through an app? Props or products. So what physical or digital objects are involved in the interaction? So this could be an online form, a chatbot, AI, a physical letter, or even a fax machine that may or may not still be in use at Medway, but I'm not sure about that, possibly. Processes. So what steps are involved in delivering this interaction? So this could include the website. So that's visible front stage actions that the users are getting involved with, or it's the backstage processes that support them. Partners. So what other organisations, companies or departments are involved in delivering this service? And that could include third-party contractors, external agencies, or even other departments within the council. And then we've got touch points and user journeys. So these connect those 5 Ps. One second, because the notes don't come up on the PowerPoint presentation, so I'm back here. So when we talk about touch points, we're talking about those individual moments that come together. So a resident could be visiting a website, and this is place and props. They could be calling the contact centre, which is people and place. They could be receiving a confirmation email or text message or letter, which is props and processes. But that single touch point is just one part of that overall journey. So, for example, a resident that is reporting an issue would then come to our website or contact centre. They would then speak to somebody. Somebody would then pass that information off. We would share data off into different places. So that whole kind of journey is incorporating all of those touch points. So how do we connect them all together? We use service pattern maps, and Paul, who I can't see, oh, there he is there, eating his brownie. Sorry to call on you right at that point. Hands up. So a service pattern map is a blueprint that helps us understand and standardise the building blocks of that service. So it brings together the people, the processes, the products, the platforms, performance, touch points, journeys, the business goals and policies and any legislation that we have to adhere to, and most crucially, the common activities and capabilities. So these are the shared building blocks that can be reused across different services. Like you saw with our service pattern map over there, the 2 teams were doing very much the same jobs, the same triaging, they were carrying out the same kind of investigations, but they're completely siloed and doing duplicate work. And then we've got the internal and external user needs. So these are the requirements of both the service users and the staff delivering the service. And we find these out by going out and speaking to real people in 3D in a room like you guys are today. Or I lock colleagues in a room for 6 hours of snacks and a playlist, and then we see how things pan out. So, since 2019, we've been building our services in the Jadu suite, and that has incorporated the central product, which is the CMS and the forms package, and the Connect product. I might call it CXM because I'm old product, so that's what I mean when I say CXM. But at the same time, we were maintaining our old legacy CRM and eForms packages. So we were building new, maintaining old, and then maintaining new at the same time. So it's a bit like wearing two different hats and hoping that one of them doesn't fall off. So we were running two systems, spreading ourselves too thin, doubling our work for our teams, and none of us looked happy while we were doing that. So the contract for the legacy system is up in 2025, and we realised that we still had 29 forms, customer-facing forms, in that legacy system, with an associated 72 workflows attached to them. And those 72 workflows were going into back-office systems like Confirm and Bartech as well. So it was a bit of a sweaty moment, and we all looked a little bit like that. So using service design and looking at the common activities and the capabilities, we realised that actually the majority of those forms were looking to do one thing, and that was to allow our customers to report a problem. So they wanted to do the report a problem. Then our officers were doing a desk-based triage, so we needed a case management system that would make that easily and accessible for those officers to do. They would then go out and do a site investigation and report back what their findings were, and then customers wanted an update on what that outcome was. And that can all be done through Jadu. So, Jadu, as we know, is low code, no code. And that helps because at one point it was just me and Jade, and Jade's going to put her hand up now because I'm going to call on you. Hey! And that was us just building. We were designing and building the new online and digital processes for Medway Council. And we've done something like over 200 forms and processes at that point, over 5 years. So we knew that we could do it in-house with people that were not very IT-led, digital kind of things. I mean, Jade's background, journaling? Yeah, journalism. So we've come at this from very different angles. So Jadu Connect has been home to our corporate processes, so corporate complaints, FOIs, blue badge, parking permits, welfare debt advice, and the waste site booking process. So the entire organisation is already familiar with that product, and they're using it and interacting on it with it day to day. So it wasn't a huge risk to say, right, we're going to lift everything out of this legacy system and put it into Jadu, because then everybody was already using it. It wasn't too much of a shock. So we just needed to start work. So we launched this project team called the Lagan Lift and Shift project, and that's because Lagan was our old CRM. I put together a team of 11 staff members, many of whom had no prior experience in building workflows with digital products or online forms either, and they had no experience with the Connect product or Jadu at all. Over 4 weeks, and that was 4 Monday sessions, I trained them on the Jadu system, service pattern mapping, and end-to-end workflow migration, and they were proficient. So that was 4 days locked in a room with these guys, and they just picked it up so quickly. So they then got to work, and in 6 months, we're literally 4 weeks away from completing that entire project of lifting and shifting 29 customer-facing forms and 72 associated workflows. And that is huge, because if we'd done that through a legacy ICT project, you're probably looking at around about 12 to 18 months. So 6 months, and the team dropped off. I started with 11, and I've got something like 6? Yeah, got 6 now. So this now means that we'll only be running one CRM. We're not paying for a legacy system, and that has now given us an annual saving of £55,000 a year. So I think they've done amazing work, and I can see some happy faces around the room here. So Jadu's system has allowed us to replicate workflows quickly, so we copy and paste the workflows with minimal editing. Usually what we do is just change the subject line or content in an email or some words and customise them for what we're using it. Adapt and change to requirements. So we know that we're going to need to tweak processes as we go out and we take them out to users and say, we've built this, does it work, does it not work, what's working for you? And we can come back and quickly make those changes. It builds confidence and buy-in, and that's not just with our residents, it's building confidence and buy-in with our internal colleagues as well, because they like the system. They like that they go into Connect and they can see colour-coded, customisable call to actions that will allow them to carry out the rest of their workflow and progress that report as it goes through. It allows us to create consistent data. So our forms adhere to our content and design standards, which are published on the medway.gov website, which you can all go and have a look at. And it means that we're asking residents in a consistent way for information. So they are getting that one Medway experience. It's not a case of you're dealing with different back offices and you've got to give us different information. We ask it in a consistent way. And then our officers are getting consistent data back in. And then on the right, far right here, you can see a process map. And I do like a process map. Some of you may have gathered that by now. So last year, Jadu launched the Jadu Labs, and it's an extension in the browser, which means that when you go into Connect, for people like myself and Jade who are building these processes, we can actually see the workflow there and then within the product. So we're not having to go out to a different Visio or Engage. We've still got those process maps that we've taken from here and put them into Engage processing. But when we actually go into Connect and we want to resolve a problem or tweak a workflow, we can see that accessibly within the product without having to go backwards and forwards. So ultimately, this approach has helped us move from chaos to clarity, and it's been possible because of the low code, no code premise that Jadu offers. Thanks.